DHG Industry Stream. My name is Derek G. I will be your host with the most. So, I noticed something. If you, you guys probably can't really see it.
He comes for you every day.
But the label on the bourbon bottle on this table says Old Appalachia Premium Bourbon. And it just tickled me because that's where 76 is stationed, where it's set up, is in the Appalachian Mountains.
Good morning.
Isn't it? Just look at that sky out there. You can't begin to know how happy I am to finally speak with you. I've been trying for days. It's a matter of utmost urgency, I assure you.
Then I'm glad you caught up with me.
Oh, me too. You have no idea. Now, I know you're a busy fellow, so I won't take up much of your time. Time being a precious commodity. I'm here today to tell you that because of your family service to our country, you have been pre-selected for entrance into the local vault. Vault 111.
Sounds great.
Oh, it is. Believe you me. Now, you're already cleared for entrance in the unforeseen event of total atomic annihilation. I just need to verify some information. That's all.
Sure, let's do it.
Splendid. Splendid. Now, let's see.
Let's see, what should I name this character? I'm thinking through different names from TV shows and stuff like that. Let's see. I think that's how you spell his name. Don't remember how to spell his last name, so we're gonna do whatever. Let's just do. Let's make his last name Jackson, just because I can't spell Heavero. Let's see.
Wonderful. That's everything. Just gonna walk this over to the vault. Congratulations on being prepared for the future.
Thanks again.
Hey, it's peace of mind. That's worth a little paperwork, right?
For you and Sean, no price is too high.
Good answer.
I have my moments.
Mr. Jackson, Sean has been changed, but he absolutely refuses to calm down. I think he needs some of that paternal affection you seem to be so good at.
You heard Codsworth.
I cannot wait for tomorrow. That's when the next beta slot opens. We actually get 2 days in a row. We get the tomorrow and the 4th. Tomorrow is Eastern Standard Time times I'm using 5 to 9, which means it's 2 to 6 my time. And then there's going to be another one that is, I believe, 2 to 9 on the 4th.
Listen,
which means 11 to 6.
But
But it was so awesome that they actually extended the beta yesterday, because I got on and I'm playing and I'm playing and I'm playing and I'm like, okay, you know, I told my mom, I was like, you know, she actually fed me because I forgot to eat
Followed by
because I wanted to get in and play.
yes, followed by
Anyway.
flashes, blinding flashes.
So,
Sounds of explosions. We're trying to get confirmation.
I told my mom, I was like, okay, there's only about an hour left, you know, and then I kept playing and I'm like, they haven't shut down the servers yet because I don't have Twitter, and when I'm on my console, I don't,
Confirmed reports
especially with the
and
fact that these are
confirmed reports of
timed
nuclear
windows, I
detonations
don't bother to go and you know,
Pennsylvania.
look shit up. So
My God.
I'm like, they haven't closed it down yet. I'm just gonna keep playing until they do. She's like, okay, and I just I played the entire window for the beta, and Jack popped in
Stay safe, buddy.
in the last like 45 minutes to an hour, I would guess.
Residents of Sanctuary Hills, if you are registered,
Hold on, I know.
evacuate to Vault 111 immediately.
You would think, but whatever. So I'm really, really, really enjoying the game. I'm really enjoying being able to play it with Jack. And I'm hoping that it, the quality of things does improve, because I'm still getting like pop in for grass and basically I get pop in for things as I'm walking sometimes. I get textures going weird and going bright white in a flash.
We need to get in. We're on the list.
There's still frame rate drops, especially in areas where there's a lot of stuff.
Okay, go ahead.
Like
Good luck, ma'am.
in
Follow me. Come on.
What's gonna happen to all those people outside the gate?
Everything we can. Now
I
keep
don't know
moving.
why the dogs are barking. But I get a lot of frame rate drops, especially in places where
Sir,
there's
we need to send you
a
down
lot
to the vault.
of,
Step on the
like,
platform.
in a town or whatever, where there's a lot of stuff, and it just, the frame rate will just drop when I get attacked. Sometimes, you know, there's little hitches and stuff, but for the
Almost
most
there.
part, it's
We're
okay.
gonna be okay. I love you.
I mean,
Both of you.
the biggest glitches that I've seen personally are things like there was a Scorched that went to attack me, and the model itself didn't move. It was like it was frozen in place, and it was moving, but there was no the model wasn't animated, you know. So it was like, and then it was like, you know, and but I did catch something that I found amusing. It's a theory. All right. The Scorched
We did it.
say things like not us. When I walk up, sometimes when I'm encountering them, they'll be like, not us. And then sometimes they'll say things like, all together forever, you know, stuff like that. And I think what the Scorched ended up being was people who had been turning into ghouls grouping together, or survivors grouping together somewhere, and something happened to them.
Thanks. What now?
Just follow the doctor here. He'll show you where to go.
And so they know enough to know that the other Scorched were the people, they're the other members of their clique or whatever,
This is our new home.
but they
Oh, you're gonna love
have become hostile to,
This is
to
one
anybody
of our
who's
most
not them.
advanced facilities. Not that the others aren't great, mind
Another thing could be
you. Our
that
home.
they're of a hive mind, but that doesn't seem likely.
We'll be down here.
Oh, we'll be going over all
Uh,
the documentation. Just a few medical items we have to get through.
So I still haven't gotten very far, because I'm still not really following the main storyline in the beta. I'm focusing on just exploring, especially when Jack's not on to
Just step in
play
here
with me.
and put your vault suit on.
Unfortunately, right now we're
Who's my
massively
little guy? I'm not going far.
farther
Just
apart
be
in
over
level.
there.
So I'm level 10, going on 11, and he's
You all right?
Step inside.
Go ahead. I
like
just
level
need
5
to
or
show
6.
you.
Yeah, he's level 5. I remember he leveled up while we were gaming. So since he was such, because I went as I was getting higher level and higher level and higher level, I started exploring farther and farther out from the vault.
Before we head deeper.
And so I showed him a lookout tower and had him survey the area to show him how to do that. And then I took him to
procedure complete.
I showed him the giant teapot, I think. No, we didn't get that far. Showed him the lookout tower. We picked up some government drops, which need to have. The government drops need to happen less often, I think, because in Flatwoods alone, I picked up like at least 5 drops, 6 drops when I was in the area, and 3 of them were all at once because they were all just dropped, and I'm not sure if it's because they were specifically for me or or what. I just know that there was 3 dropped in Flatwoods that Jack and I picked up, and then I know that I picked up at least 2 before that. I did get a little bit farther in the main storyline because I was having Jack come with me and do it. Basically, we did the water testing thing, and then basically we went through the volunteer training, and then we went back to my settlement, my camp, to scrap stuff and everything, and I discovered that I had leveled up enough and done enough to unlock or small purifier. I guess that's technically the small purifier. Anyway, and so I had bought the clean purifier skin or option. It's not really a skin. Well, it is, but it isn't. From the Atom shop. I got that, and I was also able to get the succulents from the Atom shop. So I have some little potted succulents next to the radio in my camp. I fully enclosed my sleeping area. I took all of the crafting things out of that area and put them in their own little area next to it. That kind of thing. I did stream about a half hour.
Come on, come on, come on! Oh God!
Of the thing, so.
I'll find who did this, and I'll get Sean back.
People, Maddie's guilty of this too, unfortunately, from Mr. Maddie Plays. I like him a lot. He's very open-minded, but and fair with his critiques and everything. But people have to open their minds a little bit more about what NPCs are, because Fallout 76 has NPCs. Just because they're bots, doesn't mean they're not NPCs. I mean, you got bots that are enemies, you got bots that are brainless drones, and then you've got bots that actually have personality because they have AIs, and they grow and they change and they learn. Like Codsworth in Fallout 4. Codsworth changed and grew and stuff. Admittedly, he went a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs from being alone, but he did grow and change and everything over the amount of years. And so I don't know what everybody else's problem is, because I know for a fact that there's at least one
roaches. What the hell?
There's a bot at the giant teapot. His name is Sweetwater, and he I think the reason why people don't think of bots as NPCs is because they don't leave the area that they're in, like Codsworth stayed and tried to take care of the house and everything, even though even though he thought we were dead, because his base programming tells him to stay where he's supposed to be. I think that's the problem people have with with the non-human NPCs is that they seem like they seem like you know they don't have their free will, and so because they don't you know have their free will, people don't like them and don't think of them as NPCs, but they are. Anyway, my dog is whining at me. I'm guessing because he wants to go outside. So I will be right back. I am back. Anyway, so that's my thing. There are NPCs, and from the cheeky hints that Pete Hines has been giving and stuff, as the game evolves and grows, we will probably run into more NPCs of various kinds. So I don't know what the problem is, because like I mentioned in my other stream, you know, when we're playing Fallout 4, like I'm doing now, there'll be times where, you know, we don't run into anybody for a long time, other than enemies like Mirelurks or, you know, Super Mutants or whatever. And it plays basically like 76, where you pick your. Admittedly, you don't have to the freaking fast travel. You don't have to you don't have to pay for it. But you do just, you know, radiate out from where you decided that you're gonna live. Oh, damn it. Got it that time. Alright. I only used one extra bullet. Or two, maybe. I don't know. But, yeah, it's just... I don't get I understand, you know, hardcore people going, you know, not wanting to have multiplayer, but I've been wanting either multiplayer or co-op, something that allows me to play with Jack or any of my other friends that I make online, because I love Fallout. I love the universe it's set in. You know, I don't know. I'm not all that up onto all the lore. It's more, to me, it's more like the futuristic pop 50s, you know, setting where, like, even though they had, you know, nuclear fusion for everything, and they were so widely advanced in some ways compared to us, and everything, that they still had that the 50s mentality about, you know, modesty and family and, you know, all that stuff. I mean, it wasn't perfect. Even in real life, the 50s weren't as perfect as people like to paint them to have been. But it's the nostalgia factor for me. And so that's what I continue to enjoy about the games here. Is that it gives me nostalgia. You know, 50s nostalgia, old sci-fi movies, you know, that kind of thing. Hey, Liam. How you doing? Did you have a good Halloween?
Enjoy your return to the surface, and thank you for choosing Vault-Tec.
Yep, I've been talking about it and talking about it. I've actually been playing the beta for PS4, and I was yesterday was awesome because they extended the beta window. So I played from 11 a.m. my time until like I think it was like 5 or 6 in the afternoon, or evening. I don't remember exactly when I stopped playing, but I, you know, played it and played it and played it and played it and played it, and I'm gonna do it again tomorrow, and the day after that, because that basically the whole weekend's gonna be beta. Aw, how was Halloween bad? I'm not so much. Well, yeah, I am lucky. It's just I have a really good friend who gave me a gift card, and then I had some money already saved up, so that's how I was able to get it. Oh, dude, that sucks. I've had that happen, not on Halloween, but I've had that happen, and egg's really hard to get off once it dries, especially. Since I got just the base, we're gonna go about with American prices. I don't know where you are. Liam suggests Ireland or Scotland, or UK in general, but that doesn't mean much. I paid about $60 for mine. But like I said, I got the very base edition. I didn't get any of the special editions because I truthfully don't need it. I mean, the Tricentennial Edition, all it is extra skins for stuff. I like British people. You guys gave us Monty Python and Doctor Who, amongst other things, including America in general, even if we did take it away from you. Played this game so much, I know where everything is. I don't watch Doctor Who past the Ninth Doctor. He was my favorite modern Doctor. But yeah.
Got it.
Monty Python's Flying Circus is freaking awesome though. They're massively underappreciated here. I love it. It's got some glitches and stuff. I mean, you know, no game is completely glitch or bug free, but especially from Bethesda, as the running joke goes. But in general, I really like it. And the people bitching about how there's no NPCs, that there's no people in the world, you know, in context, there are technically NPCs because the bots are there. I just covered this earlier in the stream, so I won't go really in detail again. But certain AI bots, kind of like, you know, how Codsworth here in Sanctuary has a AI that continuously evolves and learns. They may not have total free will, but they do know loyalty and kindness and stuff. I mean, for crying out loud, in Diamond City, there's that one that falls in love with her co-teacher, and they get married. So it is possible for them to evolve. There are some, like I said, there is some minor stuff. Performance issue is mainly, for me, there was texture popping. You know, like there's like where the texture goes is fine. Like I'll be walking along and watching the ground, and then a section of it pop in up there in the distance. It'll do that up here, like fairly close, not right in front of me, like right in front of me, but close enough that it should, you know. But it's also an online game, and it's also a beta, so they're working on it. And the game will, unlike a lot of the other types of games, like, you know, Fallout 4 and stuff, it's going to evolve. It's going to evolve. They're going to learn and change things, and it's going to be great. Because that was the whole point of making the online Fallout, is they wanted to try something new with the Fallout franchise, and they wanted to continue to learn and grow as a company. I mean, they've been buying up studios all over the place, from Europe to at least 2 in Texas, from what I remember. You know, so they're growing, and they're gonna keep expanding how they do things, and people have just got to adapt. I mean, it's not like we can, unless you want to like completely bankrupt the studio, you gotta just go with it, you know. The game's price is not going to change. It'll still, the base price for it will still be $60. The only reason that there's other editions that charge more is because they give you extra little things, like the Tricentennial Edition gives you power armor skins and outfits and stuff that that, you know, red, white, and blue. You know, they're striped and stuff. and the other ones give you even more stuff on top of that. At the time that I ordered my copy of the game, I didn't have any extra money to put into getting any of the bigger priced ones that have the extra stuff. And truthfully, you know, you don't really need the extra skins. Yeah, believe it or not, Fallout 3 was one of the very first games I played on the 360 when I started getting really into gaming. Well, Fallout 76, and this is what a lot of people are complaining about, Fallout 76 is very much a hunt and gather survival game. It's literally like, what would happen if one of the vaults was set up to release shortly after the bombs fell, before society had a chance to really form around the United States. You know, so this is you know, the timeline was set way before the New California Republic, way before most any place, including the Enclave, was active too much. You know, there were some factions, but they hadn't grown too much or too powerful at this point in the timeline. And so people have a real big problem with the fact that there's no viable storyline, that there's other than following the Overseer's path at this point, and that there's no raiders, there's no, you know, there's just the Scorched. And I don't have a problem with that at all. Where did the other bloatfly go? I'll find it eventually. There it is. Alright. My favorite parts of this game, you know, 76 or Fallout 4, is literally the exploring, the gathering, and the building. Truthfully, I used to hate the building in this. I thought it was stupid because this was the first Fallout game with that aspect to it. And so I was like, why? Why do we have to do this? Why do we have to do that? And then I really got into it. Now, I don't build every single settlement. I played the Minutemen storyline once and haven't touched it again. But that's all 76 is about, is going out there and killing things and looting, you know, scrounging, building up your own little camp, finding other survivors, you know, other Vault Dwellers or whatever that you want around to, and you can combine camps to build big settlements and stuff like that. You can do all sorts of really cool stuff. My friend Jack and I, once the beta's over, and we're playing the actual launch edition, Jack and I plan on putting our camps nearby each other. Yeah! I would totally play with you. The game. That sounded dirty. I didn't mean it to sound dirty. No, I would totally play 76 with you. And Jack would play with us as well, because Jack is going to be one of my permanent team members, because he's my best friend. Well, in the base game, there's technically no PvP. If somebody hits you, you can hit them back and kind of semi-start it. But if you but if you don't hit back, then all that happens is that you might get a wanted on your head. Like, there was this one guy yesterday who hit me repeatedly, like shot at me repeatedly because he didn't like, I don't know if he just didn't understand or what was going on, but he didn't like the fact that I was hunting the quest stuff in the same area as him, and I think I also might have accidentally hit him once when I was trying to kill the bees because we were collecting honey. And so, or either that or he was shooting at me because I was collecting the honey that he wanted, but like he shot at me repeatedly, and since I didn't hit back, it told me that he got a wanted cap level on him, and I didn't go after him or anything. It was only like 5 caps, but like the fact that he kept shooting at me even though I didn't shoot back is what got him tagged. They do have a PvP mode. Technically, it's a mode. It's a radio station called Hunter Hunted, but you don't get to choose who you fight. It's just that whoever is also listening to that radio station at the time will be assigned in kind of like a round robin or random to attack each other if you want. They'll actually give you a mission or a quest to hunt this person down. But yeah, I do like, see, this is the thing. I don't typically like online games. The only other technically online game that I play is, yeah, basically he wasted his bullets. Because they don't really let you have a lot of damage happen. So yeah, he basically wasted his bullets by shooting me. But I play Second Life on the computer, which is basically a social MMO where everybody has an avatar and you go to, you know, music events and stuff like that. But like, Fallout is a lot, you know. For PS4, I used to play GTA Online, and I hated it. I hated it unless I had my own server where there was nobody else but maybe Jack in there. Because in the public servers on GTA, I would literally be in GTA 5 when I was playing on a public server, I'd be doing my thing, not shooting at anybody else, not messing with anybody else, and I'd get these ass hats in fighter jets or helicopters literally target me and continuously attack me for no fucking reason, even though I wasn't shooting back. And so it made it so that I just didn't want to play GTA Online anymore. And with the way that Fallout 76 is done, it makes it so that I can play on a public server, I can play with other people and meet other people, and I don't have to worry about people just walking up and shooting me for no reason. And so,
been kidnapped.
You know, that's what I like about the anti-griefing system and everything. Even though Maddie and a few other people have complained about it, because it takes away the element of suspense or danger, and I'm like, no it doesn't. There is no safe zones in that area, okay? The only technical safe zone is Flatwoods, because even your camp isn't safe. If your camp is anywhere near where there's enemies, you'll get attacked still. Yeah, I've started up my own little base, or camp in 76. Right now it's just a one-room shack and kind of a side porch with where my crafting stations are. Some of them anyway. I haven't put in a chemistry station or a tinker's bench yet, but I have the armor and the weapons, the cooking station, and I have a water purifier. And that's awesome. The water purifier. Yeah, I put some turrets out, but the place where it's set up, which I accidentally chose, by the way, the place where it's set up doesn't really get a whole lot of traffic except for maybe wildlife or ticks. So there hasn't been an issue with being attacked in yet. But it's also on a hill, so, because I accidentally set it down. So it's no, people can't raid your camps. At least I haven't tried. You can't steal people's stuff that's in their stash. Jack and I did discover that because he uses my base when we're playing together, because he doesn't have his own camp set up. And when he goes to the whole My Stash box that I've got for storage, all he can see is his stuff. So you can't walk into somebody else's camp and steal all their junk. You can use their crafting stations and stuff though, and it'll use your own stash stuff. Just like, let's see, you can steal other people's workshops because they have the workshop settlements that so you can go and you can fight off you can fight people for it, but you have to destroy the stuff that they've got set out, like any extracting machines or bots or anything like that that might be protecting the area. Because I did that. I went to an isolated workshop and killed all of the robots that were protecting it, and then took it away from the person who had claimed it before.
I need to find him.
Just to see how it works. And then I left it there. I built everything that I needed to craft and scrap and stuff, and then I picked it all back up and put it back in my inventory, and then left, so that there wasn't anything for people to like destroy or take over.
Thanks for your help, Cosmo.
Because I was just really far away from my camp and overburdened, so I couldn't fast travel. I didn't want to mess with it. But it does warn you as you're taking over one of the workshops, it does warn you that there is a chance that other people could try to PvP you in order to get the workshop. And I think that's because normally there would be people there to protect it or whatever, and so they would be trying to kill you to stop you from taking it or whatever. So that's my guess anyway. What do I want to do this time? Do I want to build an elaborate thing, or do I want to build something simple? Because I'm not going to stay here with them. I'm using some mods, nothing super drastic. I'm not even using anything that gives me extra XP or anything. You two, have fun. You're welcome. Bye. still think you should get copper from the TVs. Oh. Not my game, I did not program it. Yawn. Okay. Oh, right. So for those of you who watch these to hear updates about my life, so I had a meetup with somebody today, well at least I had one planned, and he flaked on me, so there's that. I'm just gonna give up on dating. It's my ideas of dating and the ideas of dating in my generation or in California in general do not mesh, apparently, because I want the slow build up, you know, meet up for coffee, you know, talk, see if you guys are compatible, plan more dates, you know, to go out to movies or to, you know, just in general, just to get to know each other, build up a trust and relationship and everything before you jump into the bedroom and whatnot. And so I think I'm just going to give up trying to date. In general, again, people, when I talk to people about it and they find out that I'm actually serious, because there's been some guys especially, who have been like, oh yeah, you know, that's fine, this, that, and the other thing, and then when they realize I'm gonna stick to my guns about what I want in a relationship and why, they like ridicule me. This one guy actually called me high school, and I'm sorry that the world has deteriorated into a debauched hell, but I'm gonna stick. It's not really morals, because like, well, it's morals, but it's not religious based. I'm not gonna wait until marriage, you know. I'm gonna wait until I trust in the relationship and everything, and I trust that the other person is not going to, you know, break up with me shortly thereafter, or lie to me, or, you know, any number of things that have happened to friends of mine and me in the past. So I think I'm just gonna give up for now. Just totally give up, because like the guys that have been talking to me, because, you know, I'm mostly what they call it now, homo flexible. So I like men the most, though there are some women that I wouldn't mind dating or whatever, but all the guys that have been trying to date lately have been married or lying about being taken, or mainly married. 2 out of the 3 people. There's only been one guy that has been totally open and honest with me about things, and he's in an open relationship, and the reason why I know he's not lying about that is that he actually said that his girlfriend would be happy to join us if I was willing to like hook up, and that was it. He wasn't looking for actual relationship. He was just approaching me for hookups, and I'm like, you know, which is fine. Which I'm not dissing it. I mean, if that's how people are, that's how people are. It's just not me. And I'm tired of being ridiculed or treated like shit because of it. So I'm just gonna give up for now. I'll wait until I'm either much older, which I'm almost 40, so it's like, what the fuck, right? Or I'll just wait until I move to a different town, different state, whatever. Or I might have a relationship just drop into my lap. Who knows what could happen in the future, right? But I'm not gonna go looking anymore. At least not for now. I'm just tired of it. I don't understand. I think my biggest thing about it being called high school is I don't understand why people think there's no time to truly get to know each other. Because like that's basically the responses I've been getting is like, oh, you know, life's too short to really like do this, or you only live once, or you know, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but what's wrong with, you know, getting the relationship that you really want and being with the same person for the rest of your life? What's wrong with, you know, even if you don't get married, you know, just living together for the rest of your life? I mean, there's been plenty of examples in my life and and everything where that works. I mean, like Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell are a great example of. I don't know if they're still together now, but they were together for like ever, and they never got married. And they said that for them, anyway, in their relationship, the idea that if things got to the point where they couldn't live with each other anymore, that they could just walk away with each other, from each other, allowed them to be better with each other. You know, and that worked for them. Great. You know, you don't have to fucking get married. Marriage, and this was my argument against gay marriage as it was. Marriage is a religious thing. It's a religious thing. It just is. If you guys, you know, the people who are going to be arguing with me, even if they don't ever say anything to me in the comments or whatever, they're just arguing in their head about, you know, how the government has to acknowledge, you know, marriages and marriage licenses and stuff. When you register your marriage with the government, all you're doing is registering a permanent partnership under the eyes of the tax man. Okay? That's all that is. You don't even have to have a religious ceremony or ceremony at all in order to register as a married couple under the law of the land. Which means that you're basically just registering your partnership, whether you're hetero or not, with the government, and that's it. So for me, a marriage is religion. You know, partnerships are different. I tried to advocate, you know, back with the whole gay marriage thing and everything, I tried to advocate for the paperwork to be, the labels on the paperwork to be changed for the government registration, so that it would read partnership registration, whether you were straight, gay, it didn't matter. Because that's what you're doing. You're registering your partnership with the government. You're not necessarily, you know, declaring your marriage, because the government doesn't, you know, do religion. You know, you're supposed to have religion separate from government and all that stuff. At least that's the way it's supposed to work. And so I was trying to advocate for that recognition of the fact that the paperwork that reads, you know, marriage license is not actually a license to marry. It is, you don't even have to have one. It is just a recognition by the government that you are going to stay with this person for X amount of years, and that you are legally tied to them for, you know, taxes and whatnot, and for any children that you might have together are now like, you know, recognized by the government. And even then, that's the whole birth certificate thing. It's just a big foobar. Nobody wanted to listen to me anyway. It's just like nobody wants to listen to me about trans issues. I've actually had people in my own community, because I'm trans. I've had people in my own community tell me that I'm self-hating when I voiced my views about it, about how we should go back to the stricter thing where you actually have to see a psychologist, and where you actually can't give kids hormone blockers until they're adults. You know, until they're 18. You know, and can make the decision legally themselves. And stuff like that. And that, for me, it has nothing to do with the emotional issue. I realize that, you know, part of the reason why they are allowing younger children with parental consent to do that is mostly a emotional, mental issue. But for me, the reason why I fight against it is because health-wise, it's not good. If you actually go and do the research and everything, you'll find out that it can actually shorten a lifespan, because you're not letting your body grow and form the way it's supposed to before you do everything. Because there's already risk for adults transitioning like myself for all sorts of different health problems. I've had one of them already, but it wasn't because I was on hormones, which was actually funny. My mom made a joke about that. But yeah, my worry is that you put kids pre-puberty on hormone blockers and stuff, you run the risk of them getting cancer and a bunch of other things really early on in life, shortening their lifespan prematurely because of the issues that the hormonal transition will cause long term. You know, it just, yeah. It's one thing when you're completely and totally an informed adult, and you have the concept of life and death, and you understand all of these things, because you have matured and grown and actually grown up. And when you're a kid and you don't understand the concept of death, or you know, life-threatening illnesses and stuff, you just don't understand the concept. When you're a kid, you think you're gonna live for fucking ever, you know? And yeah, that's my biggest issue with it, is the harm it could be doing. Now, I'm not a doctor, but I've done a lot of the research for my own purposes. You know, like, I knew that once I started to transition, there could be cancer involved. That's why they usually advocate for hysterectomies and getting your breasts removed, is because being on testosterone can actually cause uterine cancer, ovarian cancer, that kind of thing, and breast cancer. Especially if you are already a risk factor. I'm already a risk factor, so I'm going to be getting surgery here in the next couple of years to remove my chest. But yeah. Now, those of you who haven't been watching my channel for years, and haven't bothered to look at my backlog videos, the reason why I'm already a risk for cancer and why I'm having to get my breasts removed and all that stuff is because I had some kind of uterine or ovarian cancer. They couldn't tell where it started. They didn't know I had it until I went into surgery for something connected, but you know, I had a cyst on my left ovary the size of a basketball, no, grapefruit, size of a grapefruit, which is only slightly smaller than a basketball, but anyway, and so they didn't know about it until they went in to remove the ovary, and so they ended up having to quickly open me up and do an emergency hysterectomy. So basically, I went to sleep expecting one surgery and woke up having had a hysterectomy. And which is fine because I had actually told my doctor repeatedly before we even had the surgery for the ovary that if they found something that and they needed to save my life and the hysterectomy needed to happen, to just do it. And I said that to my representative that was in the ER before I actually went into surgery as well. I told him to just do it if it needed to be done. So, hi! You came back just as I was talking about my history with cancer. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm actually free and clear. Have been, I still have like a couple more years, I think. I believe it's been 4 years since that happened, and so I've got another like 4 years, I believe, of yearly checkups with my doc to make sure that everything's still, kosher. But yeah, everything's fine. I was just catching people up because I was talking about trans issues and how I got kicked out of a lot of trans groups because I'm trans. I got kicked out of a lot of trans groups because of my belief that we shouldn't be giving people hormone blockers and stuff when they're still going through puberty. So I am a minority in my own community, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm despite what I sound like, because I know I sound younger than I am, I'm 38, so. Well, here in the States, I don't know about the UK, but here in the States, they've made it so that kids under the age of puberty can start taking hormone blockers to keep their bodies from changing from the natural puberty. So let's take I was born female. So say somebody was born female and they were, when they were young, they decided that they felt like they were a boy instead of a girl, which happens. So the doctor will start putting them on hormone blockers so that the estrogen that their body starts producing at puberty doesn't happen. Basically, the estrogen gets blocked, and so they don't mature. Their body doesn't mature the way that it naturally would, and then they put them on testosterone instead. And actually cause a lot of problems like cancer in the long run, which is what had brought up my cancer story. And my opinion, unfortunately, out of different social groups and stuff for trans people because of my beliefs. Yeah, I'm on testosterone right now. Oh, come on. I've been on testosterone, well, I should say on and off, because unfortunately there was a mess where I wasn't on my hormones for like 8 months because of my insurance changing, but couple of years, but I didn't start until after my hysterectomy because of cancer. So do that. Oh, it's okay. I don't mind talking about it. I mean, you know, it is what it is. Preston, Sturgis, Mama Murphy, the Longs. Okay. Top part. Probably should have waited to put the doors on, but oh well. My day's been fine. Other than the fact that I was stood up for technically a date. More like a meetup than it was a date, but I was still stood up. He flaked on me at the last minute. Supposedly because he got recruited to babysit. But considering he's flaked on me, this is the second time, and everything, I don't really believe it. I think he just decided to flake on me. And so I am not going to give him another chance. Direction. That's in the right direction. Right. On the roof is in the right direction. Oh, I woke up finding out. I found out I had cancer because I went in for a surgery to remove a cyst on my left ovary. And forgive me if everybody's already listened to this on the video. I'm going over it again anyway. So, yeah, I went in for a surgery to fix or remove a grapefruit-sized cyst. And I woke up after the surgery being told that they had to do an emergency hysterectomy to remove my my reproductive organs entirely because they were completely and totally covered in cancer. Very scary, but not as scary as if I had known I had cancer before I went into the surgery. So I've actually cyst, CYST, not cis as in sister. A cyst is, there's various types of cysts, but a cyst is basically a big ball of just crud. It can either just be regular liquid, or it could be, it's usually like pus and crap, or it could be cancer, the big ball of cancer. Could be anything. Most cysts are pus, but, you know, who knows. I didn't ask for complete and total details of everything. I got what I needed to know by them telling me that they had found cancer. I ended up doing 6 months of chemo, losing all of my body hair, including my eyelashes and eyebrows. And, and just dealing with it. I also got external radiation and internal radiation. So basically, after it was all said and done, I basically got a year's worth of cancer radiation therapies. So, and then the only lingering effect I really have, other than my immune system still being a little iffy compared to what it was before, is I got a hernia in my belly button area, so I can't lift anything above like maybe 10 pounds. Otherwise, I could hurt myself really bad. But that's life. At least that's what they say. Ba-da-da-da-da. Very old song. Just in case you don't recognize it. I've had people tell me that I'm very upbeat considering what has happened to me throughout my life. You don't have to apologize. You don't have to say that you're sorry. I know you're trying to sympathize, but it's okay. Considering I've checked out every year since then, you know, and everything, I'm good. The only time I'd probably be depressed and somewhat angry is if I were to get cancer again and have to go through it all over again. Then I'd get a little pissed. But that would be understandable in the long run too. Yawning, sorry. So, since you're in the UK, or British anyway, I hope everything continues to be good for me too. But are you, what time is it there? Is it morning? Or really late at night? Or, you know, really early in the morning? I don't know time zones very well. Well, at least time zones outside the United States, I should say. Okay, so how old are you? Because I don't want to start admonishing you to go to bed if you're of age to to make your own decisions and stuff when it comes to that. I get a lot of younger audiences here, so okay. That's like 2 or 3 years from drinking age, right? If I remember correctly. Unless the UK's changed, I don't know. Last time I heard 16 was pretty much legal from just about everything there. Hello, dog. I have my dogs here. Hello, ducky. So what? Are you trying to tell me you need outside again? Really? Oh, I got changed to 18. That sucks. I remember that when that happened when I was a kid. They changed the drinking age from 18 to 21 in the 80s. Here in the States, and so I grew up, grew up watching the 80s movies and stuff and going, yeah, I'm gonna be able to, drink when I'm 18. Yeah, yeah. I was born in 1980, dude, so most of my stuff is, fairly out of date. Most of it's fairly out of date. Yeah, they changed the tobacco to 21 here too, which makes no frickin' sense to me. I voted against it. Mainly because if our armed forces, and I know if our armed forces can sign up at 18, sometimes even younger, if you join the ROTC, which is like the reserves for like high school and college aged people. If people are old enough to be in the military, I think they should be old enough to smoke and drink. And then I found out that technically they can on base, they just can't off base in some situations. But it's still ridiculous because here we still have the draft here, so guys are mandatorily required to sign up for military service in case of an emergency like a world war. And you have to do it when you're 18, and then you're still on the list until you get to your 30s, and so it just boggles my mind that they think people are too young when you're 18 to 21, 18 I should say 18 to drink or to smoke or whatever, but you can go to jail for life. You can be tried as an adult for crimes. You can be forced to go into the draft for the military, and it just boggles my mind. So that's why I voted against it when it came up here. Is because I think it's unfair, massively and completely unfair. We need copper. Yep, need copper. Let's see what else I can do out here. And so, yeah, it's just like, California, our legislature anyway, the people who are supposedly there to help our laws, uphold our laws and stuff, they decided to ban plastic straws in California, And then they patted themselves on the back about helping with environmental issues and all that stuff by doing it that way. And I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? Because, I know, dude, because I do pay attention to some of your the politics there. I know about how there's places there in Great Britain, where people shouldn't go because, you know, the no-fly zones for Muslim immigrants and stuff like that. So, I know it get big. It's pretty bad there. I do pay attention to some politics. I'm trying not to pay attention to too much politics anymore because I get stressed out, and apparently I get bitchy, or, you know, I become like kind of an asshole when it comes to, you know, what I think is right and wrong. So hello, Ducky. What do you mean by that? I'm just asking because I'm out for clarification's sake, not because I'm gonna yell at you or anything. Okay. Because like I said, you know, their nuance can be hard to have without me hearing the way you talk. Ducky, back up. I named my mom named our dog Ducky after a character on NCIS. And then he ended up becoming my dog. And my dog, which I named Gibbs after another character from the same show, ended up becoming my mom's dog, so. Yeah, that's happening here, but our president is trying to semi-fix it by lowering regulation and taxes on businesses and everything to try to encourage expansion. He's also making it harder to do your business overseas, like, you know, move your manufacturing and stuff overseas, so that a lot of businesses will bring manufacturing back to here. Well, I know you're only 14, so I'm not gonna try to get too into economics, but part of the problem about wages is not necessarily the government or the businesses. It is inflation. Well, yeah, but if inflation would stop climbing, which it won't, it's a natural byproduct of things, but if the government would either halt inflation or try to lower it somehow, it would help with wages and cost of housing and stuff like that. But the problem is that instead of fixing where the root of the problem is, they've just let it go. They've all, you know, at least with my government, price fix to help farmers and stuff like that. So like say we had a really good dairy year, okay, and there's a lot of milk and cheese, instead of allowing the market to fluctuate so that the prices are super low because of the excess, they decide to they decide to buy farmers' products or tell farmers not to produce, depending on the crop, and supplement their income instead, to make it so that milk stays at $5 a gallon, that cheese stays, above a certain price or whatever, instead of just letting the market, choose the price. There's actually been known cases and documents here in America anyway, of the government telling a farmer not to grow that year, and giving them the money that they would normally make if they did grow a crop.
Hey boy, what are you doing
just
here
to
all by
supplement
yourself?
them, to keep the prices from dropping for other things too. And it's so fucking dumb. But it is what it is.
Okay then, let's stick together.
Little trick here in Fallout 4. If you just loot that stuff real quick, just the stim packs in that one chest, and then you just run over to the water tower here, you won't get the attack with the mole rats, and then you can go back the next time and claim the workshop, and you won't have to fight anything. That's my dog. He wants out. And since I actually normally only stream about an hour, I'm going to just let you go. And I hope you have a great weekend. And I will talk at you later. All except for the first top-down ones. I haven't played 1, 2, or Tactics, that kind of thing. But all the Bethesda titles I have. Answering your question real quick, because you're delayed, so you don't know that I'm logging off. Later.